For centuries, many philosophical proposals have been based on intuitions. Some of those intuitions have been confirmed by scientific research. Others have been refuted or have lost their plausibility. I consider that it is very important to assess many of our philosophical assumptions in light of scientific research. Otherwise, we might contribute to perpetuate many mistakes. And this can be very hurtful for people that come to philosophical counseling. Opinion is the lowest level of evidence, and empirical research gives us the opportunity to advance in favor of some more objective perspective of knowledge. For example, Epictetus gave us one of the great teachings of philosophy when he said that the key to the good life is to recognize that most human suffering comes not just from what happens to us, but from our ideas about what happens to us. Today, we know that this is basically true, but it is also true that most people's well-being requires having 2 or 3 close relationships and living above the poverty line. These necessary conditions seem to have a low variability between humans. There are also many common sense ideas about human behavior, worldviews and philosophies of life that are not supported by scientific evidence. For example, since 1970, self-esteem was considered one of the fundamental psychological resources for life. Popular culture considered that self-esteem has many benefits. Some studies found a correlation between low academic performance and low self-esteem. Several psychologists claimed that low self-esteem originated violent behavior, drug abuse, narcissism, and a high number of dysfunctional behaviors. They implemented plans to encourage the development of self-esteem in different areas, including education. More recent studies revealed that a high academic performance caused a rise in self-esteem, and not the other way around. So we need self-esteem, but not a high self-esteem. Self-esteem is only relevant in the initial social contact with others, because shy persons fear rejection and initiate fewer contacts. Research shows us that it is not self-esteem but self-control which tends to decrease disorders once attributed to the lack of self-esteem. That is, excessive conflict in interpersonal relationships, poor academic performance, substance abuse, violence, etc. Despite what is usually believed, feeling loved and valuable is not the only source of self-esteem. Because if the individual does not agree with the evaluation, he will not agree with it. Raising self-esteem is ineffective if the child has done nothing to deserve it, and if he has not learned behavior skills that allow him to feel good about himself. To stimulate self-esteem is good for younger kids, not for more grown kids. Learning the right skill is, according to scientific evidence, more valuable for a good life. For example, learning how to enable cooperation and deal with conflict, how to share, how to communicate and listen, how to be more empathetic, less egocentric and more sociocentric. People with a lot of self-esteem are not the most valued by their peers. Not all cultures have considered self-esteem as an important value. East cultures and ancient Greece culture exalted humility.